Hello everyone. Today I am going to discuss about a topic that is known as techniques available for the separation of mixture. Well, the question must be arising in your mind that why we need to separate the mixture. But before that, I would like to give you a brief highlight. By the end of today's discussion, you are going to learn a certain fundamental concept. The first and foremost thing, you are able to learn what are the different methods available for the separation of mixture. You are also going to learn out of various methods which are available for the separation of mixture, which is a best method out of all. And third, what kind of physical changes are going to occur in a product whenever you are going to do the separation from the particular mixture. Well, the question must be arising that why we are doing this particular technique of separation. Friends, the answer lies in such a manner that whatever your product are there, whatever your desired product which is available in a mixture, it contains the impurity and you require to separate this particular impurity, and because of that particular reason we require to study this particular separation technique. The second reason, there are so many impurities are there along with your desired product. So at one side we want our desired product and at another side we want impurity. So to separate all the impurity from the product, we require to study this particular separation technique. And third, and the most important reason why we are studying about this particular separation technique. Friends, whatever your product mixture is there, in this particular product mixture, there are number of impurities are there. Along with the impurity, there is a chance that this product may be thermolabile. The meaning of the word thermolabile, the product may be heat sensitive. If you are going to apply such kind of a technique where you require the help of a heat, then what will happen? Your product may destroy, it may denature. To overcome that particular thing, we require to study about various separation techniques, and as a result of that we are able to obtain our desired product in an appropriate manner. So, which particular technique is considered as a ideal bioseparation technique from the mixture? Friends, the technique which provide high through output. The meaning of a word high through output, that means it must have a high selectivity, and in addition to that, at the end, this particular product which you are going to obtain, it must be stable. That means after the application of a separation technique, whatever the product is there, it should remain stable. You should able to obtain through output of the technique very thoroughly, and the technique must be highly selective. The meaning of the word selective over here, that the technique which you are going to apply, it must have a tendency to give you desired product, selectable product without any kind of error. So you require to select ideal bioseparation technique from the mixture. Now, there are several other kind of techniques are available, but over here we try to discuss about majorly 4 techniques which are considered as an ideal technique or the ideal bioseparation technique or ideal technique for the separation from the mixture. The first technique, that is known as a filtration. The second technique, that is known as a chromatography. The third technique, that is known as a distillation, and the fourth technique, that is known as a evaporation. Whatever these techniques are there, whether it may be a filtration or chromatography or distillation or evaporation. All these techniques are required to carry out a separation from the mixture. If I talk about the first technique, namely filtration, whatever the filtration technique is there is normally applied for the separation of solid from the liquid. मैं आपको सिंपल एग्जांपल देना चाहता हूँ. In the morning, whenever your mother is preparing the tea, what she used to do? She used to take a cheesecloth. On that particular cheesecloth, she is adding a tea from the vessel. What is going to happen? Whatever the tea pattis are there, they are going to remain on the top, and at the bottom you are collecting the liquid. What you did? You did the separation of solid from the liquid. Do understand, the filtration is a phenomena where the separation of solid is going to occur from a liquid by the means of a porous medium. Now whatever that cheesecloth is there, from where your mother is trying to separate out, trying to collect a liquid tea, that particular material should be porous. The meaning of our porous, it must have a pores inside. What is pores? What are pores? Pores are basically a tiny hole. The material should be a porous and which has a tendency to retain the solid at the top, and whatever the liquid is there, that liquid should come out. When we try to perform this phenomena, whatever the material which is going to remain on the top, that particular material is considered as a retentate. The material, the solid which is going to remain on the top, that is known as a retentate. Whatever the things which you are going to collect over here in a vessel, after the process of filtration, that particular material, that is known as a filtrate. And if that particular solid material which is going to remain continuously on a top and going to create a layer by layer over here, that particular thing, that is known as a filter cake. So what you are having here, you are having a word which is known as a filtrate, the things which you are collecting. You are having a word which is known as a retentate, which is available on your porous medium. If that particular material which is going to consider as a retentate, if it is going to compile up, the amount is going to increase, then that particular thing, that is known as a filter cake. So whatever the things which you are adding, that is must be available in form of a suspension. We are using the word as a mixture. And from this particular mixture, you try to carry out a separation of your desired liquid, and whatever your solid particles are there, they are going to remain on the top. So what is going to happen? Whatever the suspension is there, this particular suspension, which is a mixture of a solid and liquid, that particular thing, that is known as a slurry. That is known as a slurry because it is a semi-solid. It contains a liquid, it contains a solid. The second thing which is available, from where your slurry is going to touch and going to do the activity of a filtration. So that particular second thing, the porous material, that is known as your filter medium. And whenever you try to perform this activity, whatever the solid particles which are going to compile, which are going to get aggregated on the top of your filter surface, that particular thing, that is known as a filter cake, and whatever the things which you are collecting, that is known as a filtrate in your vessel. So this is how the process of filtration is going to work out. Whenever we talk about the filtration, there are different types of filters are there. But before that, whatever the porous medium is there, that is basically known as a membrane. And this filter membrane is made up of a variety of material, starting from a semi-permeable membrane to the membrane which allows the movement of smaller molecules throughout the pores. And these particular membranes are made up of a variety of material, starting from a nylon to polyvinyl difluoride, polytheret, as well as ceramic, steel, glass and sand. There are various materials are there of which this particular membrane are made up of. Whatever your filters are there, these particular filters are classified into various types. Basically, there are three types are there: microfilter, macrofilter, and ultrafilter. Micro, name itself suggests they are the size of a microorganism. Macro, they have a larger size as compared to a microfilter. And the third type of filter, which are known as ultrafiltration devices. Thank you very much.